Hey, good morning, Reconders. Danny Grimes here with the Recon team. We are coming to you from all across the country, and we have a new scenario for you. First of all, let me remind you a couple of things, and you can see behind me, you maybe should pin my screen, is that today being Wednesday, tomorrow's Recon regular time, and I'll repeat this again, on Friday is our Mastery Recon. It has a different link. Same time, 9:30 to 10:30. It's going to be an hour long. You go to dennysmastery.com. They'll put that in the chat. Let me set up today's scenario for you. This is at the listing interview. This just happened to me this past week. I went on a listing appointment with one of my team members, and seller had a bad experience. And this is what the seller said. We had a very bad experience with our last agent, and we want to make sure we don't make the same mistake again. Now, note to self, if this was your expired listing and you were the prior agent, that's a danger Will Robinson statement, okay? So we're assuming the mistakes weren't made by you, but you're now at the interview table, and that's what they say. Who's playing, Kelly?
So first we have up Robert from Spokane, Washington, up first with me.
Okay.
Here we go, Robert. So, hey, Robert, listen, man, we had a very bad experience with our last agent, and we want to make sure we don't make the same mistake again.
Wow. I'm really sorry to hear that, Kelly. I'm not even sure if I can help you, but let's dig in and tell me what went wrong with your last agent.
Well, the last agent, left all my lights on and my front door unlocked.
Oh my. Did he leave them unlocked or did somebody showing the home leave them unlocked?
I'm assuming it was him.
Okay. Okay.
He was showing.
Okay. And was there anything else besides leaving the lights on and the door open that frustrated you?
No. Well, he actually wanted the other agent wanted me to leave during a showing. So a couple things were going on there.
Okay. And would you prefer to not have to leave? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think it wouldn't matter to me. I was just concerned about why they would want me to leave.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you were viewing a home and the owner was there, would that make you feel uncomfortable to be in the home with the owner there?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can address those issues. Anything else besides those things?
No, that's it.
Okay. Okay. So, Kelly, tell me, what would someone like me have to be able to say to you to make you feel comfortable working with me?
Well, we just want to make sure we don't make the same mistakes again.
Okay, and I can understand that. I mean, if we can assure the fact that the lights get turned off, the doors get locked, and we can, discuss the issue with you leaving during showings and make sure that you understand why it might be important for you to leave. Would those things, my saying those things, are you going to believe that I'm going to do those things, or is there something else I would need to do to
Slow down.
show that to you? Sorry.
You're using a lot of words, Robert. Answer the question, then I'm going to call time. Answer the question, Kelly.
Can you guarantee those things?
Certainly.
All right. There you go. You just stepped in a hole that has no bottom.
Yeah. And let me say something real quick, Denny. You asked a question, Robert, and I'm not going to peel back the onion right now. You asked a question about, well, what do I need to say to get you to work with me tonight? Do you want to work with this person? We need to unravel this ball of yarn before I even start asking questions like that. Denny?
Yeah. So, Robert, thanks for going first, and he's brave to do that. What we like to see is several of these things take place, then we'll start on peeling the onion. We want to see you in the raw form because you guys want a listing appointment. You'd like to have this today, and it may happen today. And so I guess the first thing I'll say, Robert, there is times to basically use self-deprecating, if that's the right word.
Deprecating.
Yeah. I'm not sure I can help you at the beginning was probably not one of those times.
Okay.
Now, there may be a point in the conversation, I'm not sure I can help you, but you don't know yet because they could be crazy. But that's okay. I'm very interested. We're going to go another one, but we want to come back to you, Robert. I'm very interested how you can solve these issues. So think about it because we're going to come back to you in a little bit. Who's next?
We have Ellie up with Don.
Ellie, we had a
Yes, Don.
very bad experience with our last agent, and we want to make darn sure we don't make the same mistakes again.
Oh, I see. I see, Don. So, I understand you have a negative experience in the past, to help me better understand and see if I can address any of those concerns that you had. What specifically about that previous experience makes you hesitant to?
I got to throw a flag. I got to throw a flag.
You don't have the flag. I do.
Oh, please. Well, you throw it.
All right, I'll throw the flag for you.
All right. Thank you. Just get right to it. When they say they've had a bad experience, all right, Kelly, tell me about it. Just because
All right,
when you
Don, just
Wait,
tell me more about
We're
Hold on.
coaching. Ellie,
when you because when guys
go ahead.
when somebody asks Jeffrey Fisher taught this. When somebody asks you if you can do something and you say I can't or no is a complete sentence. In this scenario, you're just going on and on and on. Guess what happens when you go on and on and on? They don't believe you. I can't because I've got to go here and there and blah, 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 blah. When you go on and on in these scenarios, they're like, what the hell is this person trying to say? So, Kelly, sorry to hear that, or it sounds terrible. Let's talk about it. What happened?
Guys, remember, the step to mastery is brevity. For example, if you put together a bike for your son or daughter at Christmas time, it will take you forever because you've done it one time. If you work for Walmart and you do it for a living, you're going to be very quick at it, right? Very efficient. That's what we're working on. So when you go on and on, we're going to throw the flag. So we're going to go rewind back and let's see if you can say this in less than 5 words. And you keep referring to this Jeffrey guy. I think of Jeffrey Dahmer. It's not Jeffrey Dahmer you're referring to.
No, different Jeffrey. little bit different.
Okay, Ellie, going back to you.
Hi, Don. So I'm sorry you had this negative experience. What specifically about that can you share with me so I understand?
What happened?
Jeez, what?
What?
Tell me about it.
You
What
almost
happened?
had it.
Tell me more about it.
Oh, that's better.
That's good. You know, the agent wasn't even here for all the showings. All these strangers were going through my house.
So did you have an understanding from the beginning that he has to be at every showing that you had?
That was my expectation. Apparently, it wasn't his.
Was it in all the discussion that you had and in the paperwork?
No, you know what? We want an agent that's going to be here for every single showing because you are going to know the house better than that other agent and their client. That's what we want.
I understand. I see.
Can you do it?
So depends. That depends.
On what?
It's all
On what?
Because most of the buyers, I'm sure you know by now that
We're not making any progress here. I'm sorry. I don't think this is going to be a good fit. Do you, dear?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
What makes you say that?
That's the best shortest sentence you've said all day.
All right, number 3.
All right, next we have Tiffany Lord up with me. All right, Tiffany. Listen, man, we had a very bad experience with our last agent, and we want to make sure we do not make the same mistake again.
Oh,
Tiffany, you're
you're muted,
muted.
Tiffany.
Speechless.
Can you clarify for me what do you mean by mistake? What was that mistake you made?
Yeah, we had an agent left all the lights on, and my freaking front door was wide open by the time I got back home.
Well, I can see why that would trouble you. And moving forward, I'm sorry that that happened to you. But moving forward, We always want to make sure that things like that don't happen in the future. But it's always a possibility. We do want to check up with people, but what are your expectations for
That
your
my door, that my home is secure.
okay? And how would we accomplish that to
By
your
you,
specifications?
by you being there, making sure that my house is secure.
Okay. And
Are you
and
stuck?
what about me being there and not having another agent there makes you feel like the house would be more secure? If an agent had to get into a lockbox to access a key with their client, they actually like were able to log like their MLS identification. So I can.
We want you there. We don't want a lockbox. That's open for trouble.
Okay.
How
And
so?
outside of wanting me there, is there anything else preventing us from moving forward? I feel like I'm taking Easy Street.
Well, all right. So we are almost there. So we'll do one more and then we'll Matt and I will start peeling the onion. I'm looking for you guys. Let me give you just a hint. There is a model we follow. And if someone, like, for example, you want to talk, I don't want to make the same mistake again, which is interesting. I would have focused on, well, share with me those bad experiences. They don't want to make the mistake, but they had bad experiences. The other thing, and this is what Kelly hasn't been really clear about, and it could go either way. Let's just assume the door was unlocked, not by the showing agent, but by the other agent who was showing the home, the buyer's agent. How many people have had that happen before? Or they left the light on. Now, if you do it on your own listing, then slap your wrist with a noodle. That should never happen. So, Matt, you want to give him a crumb?
Yeah, all the role plays we've had so far, it sounds like we're almost getting into like this tit for tat. Let's just suss it all out. Suss it all out. What do I mean? Get it all out on the table. Make notes and
Here.
don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm disagreeing. Right behind me, that's what Matt's talking about. That's the model. Clarify and isolate. Now we have 90 seconds. So is it possible they had more than one bad experience, Matt?
Yeah, for sure. So just get it all out there. Write it down. Keep the person who talks the least wins. So just get it all out, then have a conversation.
Yep. All right, good. Who's next?
Next we have Gregory with Don.
Gregory, we had a very bad experience with our last agent, and we want to make sure we don't make the same mistake again.
What kind of mistakes did you guys have?
Well,
Oh, stop. Hang on. Got your words backwards. They don't want to make a mistake. They had a what? Bad experience. Start using their words, guys. Well, tell me about those experiences.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. So tell me, what kind of experience did you guys have that was that made you upset?
well, you went through the office. You saw the baseball card collection I've had since I was a kid. I mean, there's some very valuable cards there, as well as sentimental. And more than once, the closet was open and they were exposed. And I need some privacy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, that's not acceptable. What else happened? Anything else?
Well, if they're going through that stuff, what else are they going through? Medicine cabinets? I have no idea.
I understand. How can I help you with that so that doesn't happen again?
Time right now. I'm gonna throw the flag. We're gonna start unpeeling this a little bit. You guys get this isolation in your mind. Other than that, you got to be careful to say anything else. Sometimes when you say anything else, Matt, it's like, well, I hope you don't have anything else. You seem like a major complainer to me.
Yeah.
But most agents will ask at one time, is it possible there's more than two things?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, you know what? I'm really sorry about this bad experience you've had. Tell me, what else? Now, here's point two, Matt. Tone. I want you guys to be the judge now. Let's say you've had a bad experience, and we've all had a bad experience somewhere, like going through Sears, looking for someone to help us. It never happens, right? So your tone has to be empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing this via text, forget it, guys, because there's no tone in text. That's point 2. So, Matt, go ahead, add a little bit.
Yeah. I've said before, when we're in listing appointments and things like this come up, or just listing appointments in general, keep in mind you're interviewing the client more, just as much, if not more, than they're interviewing you. So when I hear things like this, when I hear about bad experiences with other people, I'm not a pessimist. However, a bell goes off in my head and says, are they the common denominator? The only way I'm going to find out is if I ask questions. Get it all on the table. Once you have it all on the table, then I'm going to start talking about each item. Well, what was the biggest challenge for you out of these? What was the biggest? Okay. What would you have liked to see happen there? How will you ensure it doesn't? I'm not saying me, guys, because you guys are like, well, how can I? What would you like to see happen there? How will you ensure that gets prevented in the future? I want to turn them into problem solvers and figure out what their expectations are to know if I want to work with this person, and then maybe talk them off the ledge later on.
And there's only one way you can do that. And you know what it is? You don't want to know. I'll go over there before every showing and make sure the lights are on. I'll drive around the cul-de-sac for the showing to be over. I'll go in after every showing and make sure every light is off, the dog is not lost, the hamsters are put away, and the doors are locked. That might put a smile on their face. And you're going to win Salesman of the Year. Not. So a lot of the things they're going to want you to do are going to be counterproductive to you hitting your goals, because it's not necessarily your primary care doctor to Uber you over or to drive you over to your specialist appointment. But they would like to have that happen. So you have to somehow learn how to draw the line on what you can and cannot do, which is number 3. So let's keep those in mind, and let's not promise your firstborn to get a listing. Next.
Next, Jose is up with me. So, Jose, we had a very bad experience with our last agent, and we want to make sure we don't make the same mistake again.
He's speechless. That's unusual. Jose.
Jose. All right,
Go
let's
next.
go back to Robert then. Robert Reniker. Round 2. Hey, Robert, we had a bad experience with our last agent. We want to make sure we don't make the same mistake again.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Kelly. Tell me about it.
Well, unfortunately, the last agent who showed our house, the cat got outside. And it took us 2 days to find the cat.
Good. I hate cats.
Why did you look?
I'm sorry. I'm sure that had to be really hard. So besides the cat getting out, was there anything else?
Well, the other agent that was showing the house, I think it was the other agent, because you weren't there, left my front door unlocked. So when we came back home, we kind of had an uneasy feeling.
Oh, that's not good either. So, okay. And anything else besides those things?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So, of the 2 things you discussed, the cat getting out and the front door being unlocked, which one was the most hard on you?
Oh, my cat.
I can imagine.
Maybe.
It's hard when a pet is missing. So, so tell me, Kelly, what would we be able to do to correct that situation?
Guarantee that those things don't happen.
Okay. And how exactly would you want me to be able to guarantee that?
No,
No,
that's what
not
Matt was
me.
talking about. Hang on.
Oh, sorry. How
Matt,
would
were you going to say something?
No, I just said not me.
Not me. How would
Not
we?
me.
How how could we ensure that that would not happen?
See, that's what Matt is talking about. They have these concerns. They're talking to you about, they don't want them to happen again. Don't offer solutions, ask questions. Okay.
Right.
What solutions do you see that are palatable for you?
Right. Right.
Ask that before you start giving them ideas of what should happen. So
Yeah,
that's exactly what Matt was talking about there.
And
Go ahead.
go
Matt.
ahead. Sorry to interrupt midstream here, guys, because I know what's going on in a lot of your minds right now is, well, what if they just they're upset and they just keep throwing it back at me like, well, what are you going to do to solve it, guys? That goes back to if they don't answer the questions, they're not real. If they want to sit in the angry boat and they're going to throw that at me, I'm sorry, the conversation ends. I can't help. So you're worrying about something that hasn't happened, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And that's why you're pussyfooting. And I'm not saying that to you, Robert, but that's why a lot of agents pussyfoot through these conversations, is because they want to get the listing so bad. Guys, if they're completely unreasonable and they're throwing it at you, we're done here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like some of the ones that we had discussed earlier. I mean, oh, we want you there for every showing. Well, that's just not
We'll get
possible.
to that in a second, Robert. But I want to add one more point, is that I haven't disqualified you yet.
Okay.
Because even if they say, well, what are some recommendations? I don't mind giving them some, but I want to go back. If they said the last agent, number one, let someone in, or they didn't lock the door, I come home and my baseball card collection's gone. And then someone let my cat out, my cat's gone. You would not want to ask them which one of those impacted them the most. So
Yeah,
don't always, I mean, I lost my cat. I can't even find my wife right now. Well, which one impacted you the most? That's not an appropriate thing. If they give you several, here's the way to get around it. Well, okay, we can address all these. Which one would you like to address first?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, because that's Robert, I did give that coaching up front, but I guess I didn't see this train coming, where it's, my son got out and my cat ran away and my wife left me. It's like, well, which one do you actually want back? So, but
the cheapest one.
Yeah, exactly. So no. Yeah, exactly what Denny's saying there. Well, these are all important to me because they're important to you. Which one would we like to tackle first?
Right.
So Robert's back. Now we want to hear, let's just say, okay, you've asked, and all right, so you asked, let me just take over the role play. Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys are in real estate. This can't happen all the time. I even talked in the GPT chat. What do you recommend we do, Robert?
Well, honestly, what we need to figure out is not what I would do, is what things would you be comfortable doing?
I'm looking for outcome. I don't want my cat to get out again. I don't want to come home with my door unlocked and the lights on in my house. You know how much that's costing me.
Well, I can understand that would be frustrating. So, I mean, there are suggestions that can be made. I mean, we could buy a kennel for the cat and have the cat kenneled. We could put signs on the door, please, expressing to make sure that the cat does not get out. There are things like that we could do. Beyond kenneling the
You keep
cat.
saying we. Do you have a mouse in your pocket? What are you going to do?
Well, to be honest with you, Danny,
No, we don't say that.
Oh, sorry. Denny, there's absolutely, outside of me having to be there, there's nothing I can.
Now you're cooking with gas. Now that you've opened that Pandora's box, hop in it. Why can't you be here?
Well, to be honest with you, Denny,
No, we don't say that.
sorry.
to lie. Well, I'm going to lie to you, Denny, because I don't want to be.
To lie to you, Denny. I'm sorry. I keep saying that same phrase. Denny, there's no way that I can ever ensure that I can be here for every showing, because showings happen at random times all over. I could be in another appointment. I could be doing showings.
That's the fourth time you said I. Well, we're going to put a fork in you.
Okay.
So there is a reason why you guys should know it. What is the number one reason? And this is going to come up a lot. How many people, if the seller asked you to be present for the showing, would be there? But just be honest, you would be there. Oh, you guys are afraid to raise your hand. By the way, congratulations. You guys made it in. There's people that can't get in because we're at our max 100. So good job, guys.
I've tried to be at showings where I've had clients that wanted me to be at every showing, but it's just not reasonable.
You guys, well, there's no difference really for you being there. Now, in certain price ranges, complex homes, they've got a Rembrandt in there. There's some exceptions, but not for every listing. There's no difference, guys, between you being present for the showing and them asking you to go over there before the showing, turn the lights on, turn on the leaf blower, and blow off the leaves from the patio. It's the same thing. How do you get around that? And the bottom line is, how do you, and this goes back to your first role play, and I'll let Matt take over. There are ways to have the conversation, but they're going to ask you to do things that you have no control over. Every time that, other than you being over there after every showing to lock it up and put the cat, make sure the cat's there. Matt.
Yeah. And it's going to be really hard for me to give concise feedback or coaching on this because it's a complex scenario. Because it depends on what happens. It depends on their bad experience, ultimately. But the conversation that I have with them is, like I mentioned before, what happened? Get it all out. What would we like to tackle first? Second thing. Third thing. How would you like to ensure that this is prevented in the future? If they throw it back on me, say, well, what are you going to do? Then I'm going to say, well, are you open to suggestions? Okay. And then if it's a cat thing, so I think we can agree, cat getting out, bad, right? Okay. Is there a way that we can ensure that the cat gets collected prior to the showing, short of me doing it? That's the conversation I'm having with them. And I'm going to do that for just about every scenario. It's the door getting unlocked, the door left off unlocked. Well, I talked about this before we opened the role play, and I'll keep this short. Realtors are you have to set expectations. We've talked about that before. And setting no expectation is setting the expectation. So the expectation is this. Realtors are notorious for 4 things: not returning phone calls, having full voicemails, being late, and not following instructions. I can't even get them to call me back, let alone lock a door. So how do you what can we do to ensure, what would make you feel comfortable? How can we make you feel comfortable, short of me being here, that this gets secured? And then again, sorry to keep going back, when they ask you, what are you going to do? Okay, well, again, you open to suggestions. So would you feel comfortable if I got a hold of each showing agent after the showing to ensure they double and triple check that it's locked?
Okay, I'm going to throw a flag on you now. Ready,
Okay.
Matt? We can go. We're going to have overtime. And so keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. This is a good conversation. I believe the only thing we have is time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where Matt and I may be a little different. Number one, if I'm not going to take the time to call them and ask them, or call and remind them, would you please lock the door? Would you please shut off the lights? Would you please not let the cat out? Again, I don't know what he's saying, but even if you do that, hey, Matt, you showed my house over there on Timberline. Did you lock the doors?
Right.
And they say yes. I mean, I don't think any agent has left the home knowing they left the door unlocked.
Yeah, or open. I've had that happen.
So I'm not a big believer in calling agents asking for feedback, unless of course it's a second showing or there's some extenuating circumstances, because the time is the only thing we have. And if you want to build this business up to scale where you're carrying 30, 40, or 50 listings, it's impossible to do. And it's not even important. the formula Matt's given you, and Matt, we can role play this a little bit. Okay, so you asked me, well, I don't know. All right, so the cat thing. The cat is very precious to my wife. I leave the door open every night, hoping it to run away, but it doesn't. What suggestions do you have?
Is there a way that we can ensure that the cat gets collected prior to showings without?
Well, we're both working, and can you put a sign on the door? Hey, there's a cat. It might bolt for the door. I wish it would. And could you warn agents? Could you put it in the comments that don't let cat out?
Sure. Would you feel better if I just stole the cat?
Well, I feel guilty, but yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can put signs on the door. However, what I'm hearing you say is it would be physically impossible because you guys work to ensure the cat gets collected prior to showings.
Yeah.
Would that still be true if we had ample notice for showings?
Yes.
It would still be true. Okay. So short of me being there, is there a way or what circumstances would need to exist to ensure that the cat is secured so it doesn't mosey out the door? Because realtors are notorious for not being able to follow instructions, let alone lock and unlock doors.
That's right. Now, okay, so let's reverse it. And we'll answer this before we get into overtime. And this is still on rolling the cameras. Now you say, well, why don't you be there? I'll handle that objection the way I would handle it. Now you are the seller. Well,
Yep.
why can't you be here?
Yeah, I want to make sure that Mitzi, the piece of crap cat, doesn't get out. So why can't you be here?
Well, my question is this. I already know how you feel about the cat, and we were kind of kidding about that, but let's just assume they like the cat for whatever friggin' reason. All right, so you can tell I'm a dog guy. Well, let me ask you, we can mitigate this to about 98% with advance notice, signs, etc. However, for me to be there, are you willing to miss out on a buyer willing to buy your home at the term, price, and terms you want for the 1 or 2% chance that the cat might get out?
No.
Or they might say, what? What do you mean?
Yeah. What do you mean?
And Don put this in the chat, you guys. This is why, and when I got after Robert, I can't. It's not about me. It's about when a ready, willing, and able buyer wants to see your home. Not only does the agent and the buyer have to coordinate with your schedule, now you're adding the fourth dimension, has to coordinate with my schedule.
Right.
And the probability of, the Pluto aligning with Aquarius all at the same time, I may not be able to be there, and they're going to buy your neighbor's house. Is that okay with you?
Right.
Y'all get that? It's their benefit. I can't, you know what? That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments? We're on overtime right now. You can shut the camera off. Let's have a discussion if you want to.